In this explainer, we're exploring the neon-soaked post-apocalyptic universe of Brutal Bash. It's a wild reality. We're going to break down the incredible lore, look closely at the vicious factions roaming these wastelands, and figure out exactly why and where they're fighting. So, let's get into it.
Instantly, we're immersed in this wild setting. The physical world is literally fragmented into a synthwave nightmare. The whole premise here is that a massive digital network has completely, violently collapsed. So this isn't just your standard wasteland. It's a broken digital ecosystem layered right over industrial ruin.
To really grasp this shattered universe, we have to ask ourselves, what actually happens when natural biology and corrupted technology smash into each other? Like, what remains when the infrastructure of a highly advanced retro future completely breaks down? Well, the source material gives us a very clear and honestly a very bleak answer.
Moving into our first major section, the combatants, flesh versus metal. Let's see how this broken world gave birth to two entirely distinct, warring factions.
On one side, we've got the biological instability of the Doom Beasts, represented by the character Alpha. And on the other, the calculated mechanical engineering of the Scrap Skulls, represented by the Steamy Brute. It's basically flesh and instinct going up against metal and calculation. Let's break them down individually.
First up, the Doom Beasts. Here we've got Crustbrute, who honestly looks a bit like a French bulldog that swallowed a hand grenade. He's the perfect example of these glitched predators. The lore tells us that when the network collapsed, these creatures were severely impacted. They're mutated, completely unstable beings driven by a primal, desperate need to survive the aftermath of that digital collapse.
But here's the really crucial point. The Doom Beasts aren't just fighting for territory, and they aren't fighting out of malice. They are literally hunting for raw energy nodes just to prevent their glitching bodies from fading out of existence altogether. They have to constantly consume energy just to hold their physical forms together. So for them, it's a fight for absolute basic survival.
Then, in stark contrast, we have the Scrap Skulls. I mean, just check out this heavy, mechanized brute. The Scrap Skulls are not wild animals. They're the architects of the rusty decay. They're driven by this collective, almost mechanical instinct to engineer, build, and survive. The sources describe them as a symbiosis of rubble. They view all the broken technologies scattered across the world as their rightful property. They basically spend their entire existence hoarding this scrap so they can constantly repair, upgrade, and rebuild their mechanical forms. Think of it like this. If the Doom Beasts are the virus, the Scrap Skulls are the antivirus trying to rebuild the hardware.
Putting their motivations back to back perfectly highlights exactly why they clash so violently. The Doom Beasts are driven by this insatiable hunger to consume energy, relying on rapid mobility. They act like a fast-moving digital virus, passively infecting areas just by moving through them. The Scrap Skulls, though, are driven by a need to collect scrap, relying on deliberate tactical defense to actively secure their hardware. Basically, the Doom Beasts consume exactly what the Scrap Skulls need to build. It's a completely irreconcilable conflict over the exact same resources.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Battlegrounds, fighting for the grid. We know who they are and why they fight, so let's explore exactly where they throw down and how this lore translates into brutal tactical combat. The Battlegrounds themselves are localized 6x6 grids. Think of them as isolated, ruined sectors of the old infrastructure. Factions deploy onto this grid dynamically by rolling coordinates, and once they drop in, they use what the rules call brutal push mechanics to physically and violently shove each other out of position. It's not just about doing damage, it's heavily about spatial control. They're desperately fighting to lock down vital nodes scattered randomly across these ruins.
And it's so cool how their lore directly dictates the tactical flow of the game here.
But listen, all of these grid skirmishes, all this shoving and node capturing, it's all just leading up to one thing, the ultimate prize, the absolute center of their conflict.
Section 3, the ultimate glitch nexus. Let's look at the final stakes of this war and see what happens when the digital instability of this universe hits its absolute peak.
According to the lore, all of this instability culminates in a super glitch. This is a massive, highly unstable portal that rips open right in the dead center of the world. Both factions know the stakes here. Whoever manages to control this glitch nexus literally gets to dictate the next chapter of the Brutal Bash reality. It's the ultimate boss fight for the fate of the entire server. The lore completely sets the stage. The mechanics dictate the brutality. But ultimately, the story is community-driven. So, the only question left for you is this. Are you going to lead the Doom Beasts to consume the energy of the glitch nexus and feed their unstable hunger? Or will you command the Scrap Skulls, hold the line, and try to rebuild the world from its scrap? The next chapter of this glitched universe is waiting. Which side are you taking?